is the Conservative Colonel Podcast with Harrison Daws, where one man stands against the rising tide of liberalism. This officer in the battle to preserve our nation is the Conservative Colonel.
Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue.
And here's Harrison Daws.
Welcome back to the Conservative Colonel Podcast. I'm your host, Harrison Daws, and I'm joined by Graves Baker once again.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, I'm happy you're here. We thought you were dead last week.
I thought I might have been too.
So, for those who don't know, we didn't release an episode last Thursday, so you're kind of getting an early episode this Monday for two reasons, and I'll discuss that in a second. But one of them was Graves was on his deathbed.
Yeah.
He was sick, and I had a family emergency that needed dealing with. And, you know, after a certain day in the week, there's not a chance for me to record with my work schedule. So it was kind of all downhill after that. Hopefully you get 2 episodes this week, one Monday, one Thursday. We'll see. And we'll see because of the horrible weather Mississippi is getting hit with, especially southern Mississippi where I live. So, you know, 50-50 if I'll even have the Wi-Fi to even upload an episode or record. We will see when the time comes.
Well, to be fair, last week up in North Mississippi, we got hit with 10 inches. So you're getting a little taste of what we got last week.
You know, southern Mississippi's not prepared for all this snow. Y'all, at least, you know, are used to it. We're putting up DEFCON 4 right now. You know, schools have closed, businesses are closed. The cops are saying don't get on the roads because of the ice. You know, we're in full down lockdown mode here, and we'll have to see if there's another episode. But you know, kind of take this with either you get an early episode this week or you get 2 episodes this week. Either way. But I do want to apologize for no episode last week. Again, real quick, make sure to go check out conservativecolonel.com. Check out our main platform, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible, Cashbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, and Good Pods. If you want the video format of the show, which you won't get to see Graves this week, check us out on Rumble and YouTube. I don't know when we'll upload the video format of the show with the weather because I'm going to have to upload this and get back to work. So who knows? Again, my apologies. The weather's kind of thrown us off this week, but hopefully we can get back to it very shortly either way. But kind of jumping into the news, let's go ahead and get into it. We don't really know how long this episode is going to run for. We're just kind of winging it. We today have officially inaugurated the 47th president of these United States, President Donald J. Trump.
We are back.
We're back, baby. And I guess we can start off with this. I kind of caught the tail end of his speech, his inauguration speech at the Capitol. I had to break up ice and kind of forgot about it and woke up a bit late. And so I was hustling to get all the ice broken up and check on all the animals. So I caught the tail end of it and actually watched him getting sworn in over the phone. But, you know, one of the first things he did is sign an executive order today stating, and I can't believe we have to state this, that there are only 2 genders and the United States of America only recognizes 2 genders.
Crazy. I mean, who would have thought that was possible, you know?
Who would have thought we needed an executive order to recognize that there's only two genders? The liberals talk about science all day long and won't look at the fact that science says there's only two genders.
Yeah, I mean, it really goes down to they want to talk about how, and this is a little bit off topic, but not really. A fetus is not a human, but a tiny little microbe on Mars is life.
Yeah.
So, going off of what you said, it just makes no sense that we're going to sit here and act like, oh, science this, science that. And then when it comes to, gender and sex, we can have 400 different types. But on the biological level, XY or XX chromosomes. That's all it boils down to.
It's really cool, and it blows my mind that we have complicated to this extent that there's only two genders. And it just goes to show you how crazy the left has gone to try to appease people who are obviously suffering from an identity crisis and needing therapy. I mean, I'm not knocking that. Men have midlife crises. I'll probably go out and buy, a nice Corvette when I turn 50. But that doesn't mean, I'm 20 again.
Yeah.
And just because you might act more manly doesn't mean you're a man.
Or just because you're a woman that is on testosterone and your voice gets deeper and you have your appendages,
sawed off.
Yeah, it's doesn't make you the opposite gender. I can't just turn into a giraffe.
I would love to turn myself into a billionaire, but it's not happening anytime soon.
That would be great. Yeah.
That'd be great.
If I could get Trump to send me just 10% of his wealth, and I'd already be one.
Yeah, I know. If I could just get 10% of Trump's wealth, I'll start flying you down to film episodes in person. And we just do it like that. Because, golly, I would love it. I'd roll around. I'd just deposit it and then take it out in cash. Just do the what's that duck's name?
Talking about Daffy?
Yeah, what's Daffy's cousin's name? The rich one.
I can't remember.
But do what he does. Put it like in a pool.
Swim around.
Jump in it, swimming.
Well, with Trump being our new president, we're all going to have a little bit more money in our pockets.
That I'm looking forward to a lot because it has been a tough couple of years.
It has.
Now,
the only thing I'll give Biden credit for is bringing down the inflation that he started. Because it could have gotten worse and worse and worse. That is it. Now, it's not good. It's still worse than when Trump left and we were in the middle of a pandemic. But, the only thing I can give him credit for is that. Not making it worse than it already got.
I'll give him that credit. He did like two farewell speeches. I noticed that. He gave one, and I haven't even watched it yet. And it's the typical farewell address. We've done this much, but dear Americans, please remember,
Mm-hmm.
And then he gave one at the airport. And I was like, dude, you're out of office. Get out of town.
Yeah.
And no one cares. Like, you give one farewell address. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be your last public press conference, but you give one. After the ceremony, you get in a plane and you haul tail to wherever you want to go. I think he's going to California. But, during Trump's speech at the Capitol after the inaugural address, Trump was giving another speech. And around that time, so was Joe Biden. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, why is Joe even talking? What's he saying? Hey, I'm about to go use Air Force One and spend a bit more of your money before my way out. But hope y'all have a great day. And please note, did anyone else notice that Joe got a much better farewell than Trump did?
Mm-hmm.
Trump was like shoved into an SUV and was like, "Get out."
Yeah, they let him walk up to Air Force Two and everything.
Yeah, no, Joe got on, the helicopter from Marine One, right? He got to take Marine One to the airport, and then got to take Air Force Two to California. Trump got the SUV, and they dropped him off and said, "Find out what's next."
Yeah.
But yeah, he gave one more speech. I haven't listened to that one either. It was just on the screen because I was watching the inauguration on CBS, and so they had it next to Trump's, but it was muted, and you could just see Joe and Jill just up. And like it lasted forever, and I was just sitting there like, dude, what are you saying?
Well, they had to give him some of his special stuff so he could go for that long.
I feel bad for him, man. He's probably got more stuff in him than a cocktail. Let the guy rest. Take him to a nursing home.
Yeah.
Send him on his merry way. I feel so just happy that Joe's gone. That to the point where I'm like, okay, let the old man rest. None of us liked who Joe was before this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I felt like this whole presidential term was elder abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, the man has been hooked up with so much stuff to just be coherent half the time, or he is talking about ice cream or waking up in the White House and not knowing what he is. I guarantee you he's going to wake up tomorrow and be like, "Where are we, Jill?"
Yeah, I mean, Mike Johnson, what he said last January, he was like, "Why did you stop exporting our liquid natural gas?" He was like, "I didn't do that." And Speaker Johnson was like, "But you did. I have it right here. It was last week." He was like, "No, I didn't do that." So, that tells me one of two things, if not both, was that he wasn't in charge the entire time, or to be exact, he didn't know what was in the bills that were being brought to him, the orders that were being brought to him. He was just told to sign them. So, it could be both, or, he just forgets. But I mean, a week later, he remembers other stuff from throughout his presidency. So that just says to me that, he didn't know. And
it could be, yeah, as you said, either or, which I think it's a mixture. I think he's getting worse.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason you didn't see much of Joe after the election.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was they were like, oh, he's gotten worse. And, we can still get a couple more things done while he's in office. And so they kind of just threw Joe in a basement and said, hey, stay there.
Yeah. Just like when he ran for office.
Yeah. Wasn't there like a medical emergency at the White House like a week or two ago?
Yeah, they had an ambulance show up. Actually, that was within the last week, I think.
Yeah. Did we ever get any confirmation on what happened?
No, we haven't. I haven't heard anything about what that could have been for. I wish I did. I mean, maybe I should ask some of the people I know in D.C.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, I mean, if he was, because I mean, Harris got flown back. I think she was going to California. And she got flown back to D.C. on like strict, quick orders. Like, you have to get back now.
That's right. I forgot that.
So, like, I mean, is Joe getting worse? Like, one of my friends looked at me and was like, do you think Joe's going to, like, survive this term? And I was like, no.
I didn't.
I think Joe is going to, we're going to hear that Joe passed in a couple months.
Honestly, I think so, too, because you think about, let's say you have somebody with Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. Those drugs, they prolong it. It keeps them alive longer and makes it go slower. But what happens when he gets off all these drugs? Now, he's on more than, let's say he for sure has Alzheimer's. Again, that's a hypothetical, YouTube. Let's say that he did. Mm-hmm. And he's been on extra stuff. Well, he doesn't have the White House doctors and stuff anymore. I feel like he's going to crash. Like, it's not just an immediate, but I mean, like, you ain't going to see much of him. And then the next thing you know, he's going to either be in hospice or, farther than that.
I'm completely predicting that we won't hear from Joe for a couple months, and then out of nowhere, it's going to be like former President Joe Biden has been sent to the hospital. It don't look good, and then a couple days go by, former President Joe Biden has passed on. We've lost Graves. That's not good, but I fully expect that to happen. I'm not saying I'm not doing the conspiracy thing where I'm saying the liberals are Hillary Clinton, but I think it's just going to be natural. I think they have. I agree with Graves. I think they pumped him with so much stuff. I think that. Are you here, Graves? Graves is still not here, but I think they pumped him with so much stuff, and he is going to crash. And I feel bad for the Biden family, who, are not all of them, but certain members who are just, being good old corrupt politicians, and it's going to cost them Joe. I mean, as I said, I didn't like Joe beforehand. He was a racist scumbag and easily noticeable corrupt politician. But again, this past 4 years has just been elder abuse. I'm so happy that his family was like, "Oh, let's put him in for another 8 years." He would have been like, 8 years, another 4 years. He'd been what, 87 when he got out? 84, 85, 86. He's 82 now. Yeah, he'd been 86. That is just way too old. If we have minimum age requirements, for president at the minimum, we should have they cannot be older than this. Now, do I know what that's going to be? No, I do not. I have no idea what I would put as a maximum age people could run for office. That one would be very much deservingly discussed. Term limits just need to happen. Graves is not dead. Graves is back. He didn't go where Joe's going.
Well, you see, I had somebody call me, and since I'm on my phone, that kind of messes things up. And
jacked up the whole thing.
Yeah, I had to put it on Do Not Disturb, but we're good now.
Oh, your camera worked for a second. That's good.
Yeah, it's gonna keep doing that, I guess.
No, you're appearing in flashes for our video audience. You're getting microsecond cameos by Graves.
For the just for the crowd that can see, there it is. I just wanted y'all to see the hat when it flashed.
What is it?
It's the MAGA hat.
I was like, I can tell it's a red hat, but flashed so quickly. You like that episode or that movie, The Dark Knight Rises, where Batman's going down the corridor and the guy's shooting, just flashing the muzzle, and you see Batman pop. Yeah, that's what you're doing right now. But I was just saying, I feel bad for Joe. I did say I felt bad for his family, but I kind of want to retract that because I think they were using him. But I do feel bad that their corruption is probably going to cost Joe his life. Now, he's lived 82 good, long years, but, I mean, still, no one wants to be, used for 4 years, pumped with only the good Lord knows what, and then, you're sent off to your home to die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, bless his heart.
As bad as we feel for him, it's a great thing that he is not there anymore. I mean, for not just the reason that, he gets to rest, but man, was he a terrible president or whoever was in charge of him.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest. He's the worst president of our lifetime. And me and you already have a great contender for that.
Yeah.
So to say that he takes the cake is an accomplishment. Not the
Yeah.
accomplishment you want, but it's an accomplishment, Joe. I mean, as I said, I didn't like who he was before. He obviously started going downhill, but no one deserves to be treated like that.
Yeah.
To not even know what's happening half the time, to saying "Yay for ice cream," no one deserves to be put on the press that much. Your camera's active. We can see your eyes now.
Oh wow.
Hey, camera's working.
Well, I don't have anywhere to put my phone up, but
you have a great
you
steering
now
wheel.
see the maggot. Yeah, it's very nice. But about what they put Joe through. What about all what they put Trump through?
I think we were talking about that before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we might as well talk about it on here because it's not breaking news, but it was talked about at the speech. The first lady did not want Trump to run again, and can you blame her? Since 2016, it has hurt his business, his personal life, and probably taken a toll on his health. To be president, to lose lifelong friends that you thought you had, for your business to suffer, your livelihood to suffer, your family to suffer, because they all were thrown in the whole family's racist. They're all just these evil people, all because they're supporting their dad, their grandpa, who decided to run for president and just believe the same as him. And it was just awful. And then you have 2020 where you knew you won, but you couldn't prove that they did something illegal. And so, for the whole first year, you're trying to fight that and people are giving you crap for fighting that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, anything you do in your personal life is automatically mainstream news, and people are saying you're a piece of crap because of you were president, 2 years ago. You're not even president anymore, but they knew Trump got headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Trump brings in views, so they just continue to trash him. Then he announces for president again for a third time, and they try to assassinate him. They raid his house. They turn up the hatred even more, starting to compare you to Hitler. And then now you've won, so you've signed on for 4 more years of this. I don't blame the first lady for being like, no, I don't want you to do this. You have done enough. And I'll give Trump credit for saying, no, I haven't, not yet.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a better term, but I'm not going to say it on this show because I don't want to get flagged. The guts it took to do this is massive. Because again, how many of his family members were saying, please don't? Probably the same amount saying you need to do it again.
Yeah.
And then, again, he's a rich man. He's a wealthy man. He has this nice house in Florida. He can retire, play golf with his granddaughter. He can do all these things that he wants to do.
Yeah.
And decided again, you know what? The country's not where I want to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Trump's legacy is solidified already, but I think these next 4 years, he's going to put us on track, and he's going to give us the ability to take our government. That's going to be Trump's legacy, because we all know the presidential position is a flip-flop position.
Yeah.
No matter how hard we try, there's going to be a crazy liberal like Joe in that seat again. There's going to be a AOC. There's going to be Gavin Newsom. There's going to be a Michelle Obama. Someone in that seat that is either equal to Joe or worse than Joe. And I want to talk about Michelle Obama towards the end.
I really thought they were going to run her, and they should have. But
I have a thought on that. We'll talk about that kind of towards the end of the show. But they have all these people that they're going to want or run. Someone's going to get elected. But Trump, I think Trump's legacy after this term. And I mean, who knows what all Trump's going to go through, his trials of this term. Every president has a crisis they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Trump is going to have something that is going to define the presidency. But I think he's already defined the fact that his legacy is going to be waking up the Republican Party, that our worst enemy in politics is not just the Democrats, but our own dead gum party. I mean, I've talked about on length on the show how the Senate, as soon as Trump won, instead of trying to change the status quo, voted in a majority leader that his whole goal is keeping things from not changing, to keep the old Republicans who have been in power since Reagan pulling the strings. Reagan was a great man, but even Reagan would say 20 years is enough, and this is knocking on 40 years of y'all in power.
Yeah.
And not only that, but these Republicans are out of touch. They've become corrupted. That quote that, power is corrupting, but absolute power is corrupting even more, is never more true when it comes to the Republican Party. We were all sitting here like, who in the world is Trump going to pick as a VP? Because he doesn't have many options because of how corrupt. We see that with Pence coming out for abortion this week.
I did not know that.
One of his political action things is supporting a pro-abortion bill.
That's very weird. I thought he was like the most pro-life guy that there ever could be, the way he talked back then. But
exactly. I mean, that's the problem, is the Republican Party is corrupt, and we can all thank and add that to Trump's major contributing legacy to this country, is he, for conservatives, said, hey, not all your guys up here are doing the job you want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe the J.D. Vances, the Ron DeSantis, they're the future of the party. And I think Trump has given them both. Yet DeSantis got hurt a bit in this election. Yeah. But I think he'll bounce back after 4 years of being an outstanding governor of Florida. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's going to win the next presidential nod. I don't know who's going to be the next vice president. But I think that those two are the future, simply because they are that new movement of conservatives, that are like, kind of like me and you. You're a Washington, I'm a Jefferson. I would say DeSantis is more of a Jeffersonian, while JD is more of a Washington, like Trump. That's the future. Getting back to the core principles of the party, which is government is bad. Here's how we make it better. Here's how we get the corruption out.
Yeah.
Here's how we get term limits. Here's how we get this and that. And I truly think Trump will be able to secure the border, which will be a defining moment. Trump will be able to get the economy back on track, which more likely everybody will forget about in the next presidential election because they're going to elect someone stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But I will thank him for it because my pockets are just dying right now.
Same.
Trump is going to do a lot of great things, but I personally believe his legacy is going to be the fact that he outed all these rhinos and he fought them tooth and nail, and now it's our turn to help. I said it. The Make America Great Again from 2025 to 2029's game plan is to think locally and act locally. Take over local politics. Take over state politics. Then we can take over national politics and get the Republican Party back on track.
Yeah, and another thing that nobody ever thinks about, if Congress is trying to pass something, even if it's attached to other things, but you really like it, you really want it to happen, it doesn't pass. You know what you can do? You can start a petition. Now, it takes a lot to get those 100,000 petition signatures, but anybody in this country, with the TikTok ban, we did this. All it takes is 100,000 signatures, and Congress has to look into it. So you could just do that over and over again, and eventually they're probably going to pass the thing you want. Nobody ever does that. And then, with the Trump stuff, there's a lot of things that he's going to do that I've been debating liberals about. First off, the TikTok ban. they want to say that Trump tried to ban it. Well, the reason that happened was because the data was being stored in China. So we were going to ban it for that reason. It got moved to Texas, and now is American-owned data. So he left the EO alone. Didn't do anything further after that. Congress sent a bill to Biden in 2023 that he signed, which was not about the data. It was just a ban on TikTok. That was all it was. Not about data, nothing. And he signed it anyway. So they had 4 years to think about it after Trump had left office, and he still let it go through.
Mm-hmm.
So when Trump gets in, the day before he gets in, actually, he's like, hey, TikTok, I get in tomorrow. Go ahead and put your servers back up. You're going to be good. I'll extend it for 90 days. We'll figure something out. And, they even thanked Trump. And
yeah, no, they post like I was working during the actual 12-hour ban, so I didn't get on TikTok. But didn't they even put like a post saying, TikTok is banned right now, but don't worry, Trump is coming back.
yeah.
And I mean, TikTok knows.
Well, then after when it came back on, they said, thanks for your patience. Thanks to Donald Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. So they said it twice.
I mean, that's just crazy in itself, considering how many crazy liberals got on TikTok and had to see it.
Exactly.
And still would say it's Trump's fault, but
Yep. There goes my camera. But
it's all right. Most people listen to audio. But I'm excited for these 4 years. And I think Trump is going to do a lot. I don't know what all executive orders he signed in already since we started. Because since this is a developing episode, so to speak, news is being broken left and right. Like I just got news that Trump has named who he wants to be the FBI director. Let me see if I can.
You mean Kash Patel?
Yeah, I think that's who he picked. I haven't pulled it up yet. Nope, don't play that live on my show.
Well, there's also just the whole Greenland and Canada and Panama thing and the Gulf of Mexico. That is something I definitely want to touch on because Greenland, we are not going to invade any of those, by the way. But Greenland is for a strategic reason. We'd bring it in like Puerto Rico. It would just be a territory. We're able to have more military presence. We're able to control the trade routes. We're able to protect them. And therefore, they have a lot of minerals too. We can get the minerals. We can make them richer. They make us richer. It's a win-win. And then Canada, that was for trade leverage. Trudeau resigned. Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and then I'm done. That is because Biden banned those 625,000 acres or square miles, whatever it was, of drilling. If you change it from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, that law no longer applies, and you can reopen those drillings. So he's playing chess, people. Y'all are looking at it as like, oh, he's going to invade. No, he's not. This is how Trump works. Remember the art of the deal? He's a freaking master, guys.
Oh yeah. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about. I do have the name of the guy he's picked as the acting FBI director. All right, we're back. We're going to continue talking about this special day, but did want to announce that this is kind of breaking news happening as we've recorded. That Trump has named Brian Discall to serve as the acting director of the FBI. This comes after Director Paul Abbott retired just moments before Trump took office. I don't know what that says, but
well,
he's got an interesting profile picture as an FBI director. I will say that.
I've never heard of him.
I haven't either, but his profile pic is hilarious. Not knocking the guy, but he looks like a movie character, and I can't put my hands on it.
So I guess Cash Patel is going to be in charge of the CIA then, not the FBI. I guess I had them confused.
Probably, and we'll talk more about the Trump picks as we know about them, and of course as they get confirmed. This is going to kind of be our busy season here on the show, simply because Mississippi's in session. The federal government is about to have its first couple months of Trump, and I guarantee you Trump's not waiting to do anything.
Nope.
And I mean, heck, after we probably get this episode uploaded, there's going to be a lot of news coming out.
I'm sure.
I mean, heck, this was released as we were recording.
And the White House staff, they 12 o'clock noon is when they changed the nuclear football over from, Biden's guy that carries it to Trump's guy. So 12 o'clock was when he officially became president, even though he hadn't signed the paper yet. And, we've already had a lot of stuff happen. The White House people have until 5 o'clock to get it done. It's already after 4. So as soon as 5 o'clock hits, we're going to have even more stuff happen.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great year for conservatives. And as I said earlier, it's going to be a great 4 years for the Republican Party. We just need to continue to help Trump. We have to continue to support that man. God bless him. We talked about earlier his sacrifice and all the stuff he went through for this. We have to help Trump. Never let off. And that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be holding everybody accountable to the mandate that Trump achieved when he won the election in November.
Yeah. It's the war, the current war, it feels like it's ended, but it really hadn't. This is just the beginning. We have a lot of stuff to change and a lot of stuff to do, and it goes past Trump's 4 years. We have to keep doing it, and whoever runs in 28, hopefully we win and continue to do the same and even more stuff. But we're really just getting started at this point.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. A lot of people will, I think, mistakenly say we've won, and we've won a big, big battle. Maybe the biggest battle we have in years. But I won't say that we've won the war yet for America's soul, and here's why. As I said, to implement lasting change, you need Congress.
Yeah.
Now, Trump's presence will be felt for decades because of the Supreme Court and the stuff he's going to be implementing. That goes without saying. But to make generational changes to America that is desperately needed after what we've seen, the damage Obama has done, and hot take, but I would say maybe not the damages to the country. I think Obama has really helped us out there. But the damages to the Republican Party done during the Bushes, I'll throw both of them suckers in there. And I think Trump is going to be working his butt off to repair both at the same time. God bless him. Yeah. But we'll have another war in 2 years for Congress, the House. A couple senators, I think, will come up too. We have to start giving Trump actual allies. I'll say that we failed that in Mississippi with electing Roger Wicker again.
Yeah.
We failed Trump here in Mississippi, but you don't have to fail him in your state. You have to keep fighting. And I believe in Trump's message and leadership. Let me put it like that. Trump is leading a new era of conservatives. So this is how I kind of see Trump right now. Trump has taken a stand as a leader simply because the Republicans truly didn't have a leader wanting new age. You had a couple smaller voices. You had a couple people trying to issue it themselves, but none of them had the following that Trump has. You have a Ted Cruz, you have a Ron DeSantis, you even had J.D. Vance, all saying we need to get back on track as conservatives. We need to get the ball rolling on the next generation of Republicans, but not really until Trump took office did you start seeing these people being outed. And then now with Trump re-winning, you had the mandate from the people saying, we want real conservatism. We want real republicanism.
Yeah.
And Trump will lead us for 4 years and pass the baton to the next generation. We have to make sure that there's a next generation for him to pass the baton to.
Yeah.
That is our job the next 4 years, to work hard to make sure that Trump did not sacrifice so much so it can be changed as soon as he gets out of office.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, also the youth. We've made such stride on the youth vote and minority vote, but we need to keep bringing them in. I even saw yesterday a couple of, you know, there's the libs that are mad about, you know, saying that Trump was the reason it was banned in the first place and that it was Biden that got it put back, even though it's not true. But they don't want to believe that Trump's done anything good. However, I saw a couple of them saying, you know what? You go, Donald Trump. You go. Keep going. Let's do this. And I was like, y'all keep that energy the next 4 years. You're going to be really happy with what happens. But it has to keep going past that. You know, we can bring people in. Every person matters. But we gotta keep winning the culture war. It feels like we won it, but they'll take it back. They still have a lot of power behind the scenes.
And yeah, I 100% agree with that. And that's the danger zone we're in. With Trump being such the huge victory his election is, I feel like a lot of people are going to let their foot off the gas a little bit and not realizing that while we're safe for the next 4 years, they're still going to have some powerful liberal and corrupt politicians, rhinos in the background, just waiting for these 4 years to end so they can regain power and for us to end up like Britain and Canada. Go look at Britain right now.
That's crazy.
They're arresting people for posting what they deem as far-right propaganda. But now they're imprisoning people who view this propaganda in their algorithms. And the jail sentence could be up to 15 years. That is where we're heading. I don't know why the rhinos align themselves with the liberals when they know that the liberals' only goal is to destroy us and have a true dictatorship.
Yeah,
I don't get it myself, but, you know, they're getting rich, so they don't care. Half their mindsets are either they're going to be dead or so rich it won't matter by then. Or they can just simply switch sides.
But, you know, we got so close to it that they would have been part of it. I mean, it's more than just, you know, Trump dodged a bullet literally, but the country dodged a bullet not having another 4 years of the Democrats. It would have gotten like the UK right now.
Yeah, potentially 8, because, I mean, people don't talk about how hard it is to beat an incumbent.
Yeah.
Joe, as I said, had to do a lot of sketchy things in 2020 to beat Trump. And the jury is still out if he even beat Trump. And we got lucky this year. Instead of Trump having to go against an incumbent, he just had to go against Harris, who is probably worse of a candidate than Joe Biden, who has got Alzheimer's. That says something about Harris. But, you know, we dodged a major bullet. Harris would have been destructive for this country. But, and I think under Harris, this country would have reached a dictatorship to the point where the next 10 presidential elections wouldn't have mattered. You got to remember, a president and Congress working together can damage us for generations. We've seen it happen where we've gotten farther and farther away from what our founding fathers wanted this government to be, what it is supposed to be. It's happened before, and they want it to happen again. I mean, think of Reagan. One of Reagan's big thing was, not saying this, but he wanted to drain the swamp, get rid of corruption.
Yeah.
Man worked his butt off for 8 years, and even he wasn't able to do it. And he's probably one of the top 10 greatest presidents. Grover Cleveland wanted to do that. We've been talking about Grover Cleveland a lot. he did what Trump did and had to have 2 separate 4-year terms. Man fought for his 8 years and he didn't even get it accomplished because the people let off the gas. You give these mandates, but you can't stop making sure that they're being followed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Trump is a top 10 president himself, but doesn't mean he can do it alone. He's not a dictator, and Trump knows that too.
Yeah.
Trump is going to work his butt off to get this country the foundation it needs to grow conservative thought.
And, you know, if the media, which has taken a slight turn back, but of course, you know, they're going to get worse. It's inauguration day, so they kind of have to be a little bit nice. If they just 10 years of this stuff, man, when he went down that golden escalator in 2015, it's been 10 years of this stuff, just every single thing that they can think of, Nazi and, you know, racist and, you know, SA, I mean, indictments and convictions, felony, whatever, bullets. They've tried everything to make everybody hate him and to take him out. If people would stop listening to the dang media and just look at what he does and think about, okay, how does that affect the economy? How does that affect our foreign affairs? How does that affect my wallet? How does that affect my savings, my 401k, my IRA, you know, my stocks? And people would just think about what he's actually doing instead of what they hear all the time from people that think that they're the smartest people on the planet, then Trump would go down as the best president ever.
Yeah. I mean, Trump has the ability to go down like that. It's just a question on if we will let him.
Yeah.
And again, I feel bad for the poor man. I mean, he's going to have to work his butt off, and we all know it. But Trump can do it. As I said, I have 100% faith in these next 4 years. And I know Trump will accomplish almost everything he sets his mind to. But the one thing he's going to need our help with is draining the swamp. He physically can't do that alone because you have elections. And we can't keep electing the same corrupt politicians, expecting them to fight the other corrupt politicians.
Yeah.
As I said, the liberals and rhinos have a strange relationship where the libs don't protect the rhinos at jack crap, but the rhinos will protect the liberal till, you know, death do them part.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about this, I think, behind the scenes. You know, George Bush has been surrounding himself by a lot of Democrats recently.
I've noticed that. And, you know, at that Jimmy Carter funeral, you know, no handshake to Trump, didn't even say a word to Melania, like nothing. You know, it's really, you know, I was too young for the Bush administration to really know a whole lot. Now, I know some things, obviously.
Yeah.
But to really understand the daily impact it had, no. You know, I have some friends that think he was the best president ever, and I was like, you were 2 years old.
You're thinking with nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because America felt better back then. You know, well, it feels pretty dang good right now. But, you know, Bush, I feel like maybe he sold out. I don't know.
I think he sold out. I won't say he sold out during his presidency. I haven't studied Bush enough. I will say I don't think he was a good president. That goes for him and his father. But I don't know if he necessarily sold out until afterwards.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I don't think it was while he was there. I feel like it was after Obama, like when Trump won the first time.
I'll agree with that because, again, you know, Bush, while he might not have been a part of the system, he was still friends with a lot of the rhinos.
Yeah.
You know, and so I could easily see him almost taking it as you're attacking my friends. And
yeah, like Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney.
Yeah, I mean that gets into an area that's scary in politics. Is protecting friendships, but also looking your friend in the eye and being like, maybe there's a bit more to this than I want to let on. We're going to take one more commercial break because StreamYard wants me to take more commercial breaks, and I'm nowhere near how many they want me to do. So we're going to take one more commercial break and we're going to continue. Okay, we're back. Hopefully I've taken enough commercial breaks for StreamYard. We'll probably take hopefully one more and then kind of end this episode. But we've talked about a lot about the future, a lot about the inauguration. But let's dive back into the inauguration and some of the just history making stuff. CBS is already saying the world is ending, but oh no, CNN. My apologies, which is even better.
Two of the same. Well, yeah, they are worse, but
oh, like they're posting stories that someone hurt during January 16th is so hurt by Donald Trump pardoning the January 6th rioters. I never saw anybody in 2020 punished.
Yeah, I mean, also they didn't seem to care about Biden's thousands of pardons. So
yeah, oh yeah. No, let's talk about that. So, we'll. I saw a clip, and I think I sent it to you, Graves. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it because it was while you were dying, but there was a clip from someone from CNN, I think. News anchor criticizing Trump for pardoning his family members while he was going out of office. And then when Trump did it, she was like, well, he has to. Trump's going to go after them. And it will be so awful to see his family hurt for Joe standing up for what he believes. I don't know if Trump's kids, dated hookers, took pictures with these hookers. Some of them underage?
Yes.
Yeah, some of them were underage. Did drugs, heroin.
On video. With a hooker.
With a hooker. And then had so many sale companies.
Yeah.
Getting paid by China.
Romania.
And Romania.
Russia.
And Russia. I had to throw the China.
And Ukraine.
I cannot say it anymore without sounding like China. I can't. But he was getting paid by all these corporations. If anyone deserved an investigation, it was Hunter Biden. Because his big man or the boss. What did he call Joe in the back? Or the big man or the boss?
Yeah, Joe was. Well, he had a couple of nicknames. So they had the big guy.
The big guy.
And then there was Pedo Pete. That Pedo Pete was the name.
Are you serious?
That was the name for Joe Biden in Hunter's phone.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. There's screenshots. It's from the laptop.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's from the laptop.
Oh, we need to do an episode on the laptop.
Honestly, yeah. There's
because I don't know if I've seen anybody actually dig into it.
Not really. I mean, maybe during the 2020 election when they were trying to hide it and you just heard little things, but really other than that, just a couple of pictures.
Since it's come to life, really.
Yeah. And, like you were saying, Trump's kids didn't do any of that. And it's not even just Hunter Biden. He pardoned James Biden and a couple of his other siblings and stuff. But,
so what did they do? Is my question.
Well, they were part of the whole shell company thing. All the money laundering and things like that. So when the other day I saw on CNN, that guy Scott Jennings or whatever his name is awesome. But on CNN they were like, Trump, he's gotten richer and he's doing this meme coin and all this, and then Scott was like, well, what about Biden? He's made hundreds of millions of dollars in the last 2 decades. How did he get that much money? She said, well, he wrote a book,
Yeah,
Yeah, he made hundreds of millions of dollars from one book. That's
He,
yeah.
he has to be
That
one of the
many
most
people.
successful authors of all time.
That many people bought a Joe Biden book. You got to be kidding me.
Wait, what's the title of this book?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Oh, I'm Googling it. Oh my gosh. He has written a couple. I'll give him that. Promise Me, Dad. A year of hope, leadership, and purpose. Joe Biden promises to keep. Joe Biden, a new compact for Iraq. What is this?
It doesn't sound like to me that many American citizens would be buying those books.
His first book was released in 93.
Yeah, and we're talking about the last 2 decades. You know?
Yeah. Like he
And
released one in 2017, 2007, 2021. But how many of these were just speeches that got turned into book? You see that a lot with politicians where they turn their speeches into books.
yeah,
And they're never bestsellers. I've never heard of these books.
Not
the one
me
that
either.
says Promises to Keep is hilarious. But you know, he would have to be one of the best-selling authors of all time.
Yeah, to make as much as he has, and I mean, it's from his family too. See, that's the thing. He pardoned them all the way back to 2014. That's when he was vice president. And I remember CNN and all those other outlets saying that when Trump was going to do that at the end of his presidency to his children and stuff, that that's an admission of guilt. Well, he also pardoned Anthony Fauci. He also pardoned Mark Milley along with his family. So is that an admission of guilt for all of them?
Well, I think with Trump, and again, this is not uncommon for presidents to want to protect their loved ones. It's not. But with Joe and Trump, it's a bit different. Trump, I think, almost predicting they would come after him if he decided to run again.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the raid. I think Trump predicted it, honestly. I think he knew it was coming and he wanted to protect his family like a good father or a good patriarch of the family would want to.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, it's more of Trump has said they're going to come after me. And this has nothing to do with politics. This has to do with my corruption. They're going to find something if they look.
Yeah.
Trump was more protected. Like, they're not going to find anything, but they could make something up. A minor thing that they turn into a felony. Does that sound familiar, anyone listening? But, I think Trump knew they would come after him hard, so he did it for his family. Joe, I think, is more self-serving, with him almost pardoning himself, being like, I'm making sure they can't get to me via my family.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has nothing to do with politics why Trump wanted to go after Joe and his family. It has to do with corruption.
Yeah.
And that's what people should be taken away from. They're saying Trump is doing this because he's corrupt, but Joe's doing this because he's scared for his family's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, role reversal. Does Donald Trump Jr. have a laptop I've not been told about?
Right.
Like, it's funny how one president can do it for the safety of his family and one will do it for corruption. When, again, this has happened throughout the history of the presidency since we've given them the power to pardon. They're going to protect their family. Wouldn't any father is the question. And that's what they've been saying about Joe. Wouldn't any father do this? Wouldn't you do this if you had the power? But Joe is a bit more self-serving with his, and it's just they don't want you to look too deep into that.
Yeah.
But, he pardoned, like, his whole family, didn't he? Like, it was like 100 people on there or something.
I mean,
Not
as far
100.
as far as I know, it's I don't know if his wife was included. I'm sure he didn't pardon himself.
Shocker.
Honestly, it really is. So I think all of his siblings, his kids, no grandkids were in there, I don't think. But
he pardoned 5 members of his family.
And he had already pardoned Hunter like 2 months ago. So.
Yeah. And he pardoned some critics of Trump, saying that Trump was going to go after him. I'm just kind of glancing at the news. Again, without doing a deep dive, you never know what's really going to be said because a lot of these are liberal news sources.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Oh, they're already talking about how the first lady is pissing off Jill because out of disrespect.
How?
I don't even want to click on it to read it. I don't want to give them the views. It's stupidity. Let's take one more commercial break as we start to wind down so I can meet my 3 minimum. And we'll be right back. So CNN criticized Trump for not putting his hand on the Bible. Like it. That's how. Welcome back, by the way. But I wanted to point that out simply because they don't care an inch about religion, especially our religion.
Yeah.
They just wanted to say something bad about Trump, and it's so obvious. You know, Trump had his wife there holding the Bible. It's not like he's slapping it down. You know, I honestly think Trump might have just been too excited and not even thought about it.
Probably. I mean, and plus that Bible was given to him by his mother.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody usually puts their hand on the Bible and swear. But the fact that they criticized him right off the bat, not even letting 5 seconds pass, is hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will admit, it's something I would have criticized, but, you know, like an hour after the inauguration, man, really?
Yeah, and, you know, like, is that really news? Because I did a little bit of research on that, and guess what? He's not the first to do that. There's been other presidents that were sworn in that either had a Bible and didn't put their hand on it, or even swore in on a law book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, you know, it's not unheard of. Now, again, I wish he would have done it. You know, I feel like it's just part of the procedure. But like you said, he probably just was like, yo, we did this. You know, I'm going to take my oath. He put his hand up. He said the oath. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal.
I mean, if you think about how fast Trump wanted to get to work, and I have been doing stuff that is muscle memory, and I will forget to do something all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guarantee you, he threw his hand up. He was like, I got to get through this speech because there's stuff I need to do. And he went, did the speech, ran, gave Joe his send off, ran back into the Capitol building, gave another speech where he wanted to say what all he was going to do. He wanted the inauguration speech to be a bit more unity, which great job. You know, and then he wanted to tell his supporters, you know, this is what I was doing. And then he had to do some meetings, sign some executive reports, and then he had a dinner tonight. So Trump was trying, I think, to get through the day as quickly as possible to get to work. Yeah. So I don't think it was him like, oh, well, I'm not swearing to God or I'm not going to put my hand on the Bible. I think it was honestly him being like, all right, let's get this over with because I have work to do.
Yeah.
I 100% can see that. Again, I've done that these past couple of days getting ready for winter. As soon as this episode ends, I'm going to have to upload it, run to get this edited so I can get back to my farm because me and Graves are slow people and love talking by nature. So, you know, I'm running a bit behind my schedule. Graves has got stuff to do. So, you know, I'll be hustling to just try to get this stuff done. But I honestly think it was that. He was like, I got things to do.
Yeah, he's going to sign 200 executive orders today, which you and I have both talked about before the show, which, you know, we don't really like a whole lot of executive power. Yeah. But It's being done to overturn things that Biden did, to unban things that Biden banned, and to do other things that we actually voted for him to do. So
Yep.
he's doing this to implement and take away things that we voted for.
Mm-hmm. And so I think I mean, again, Trump doesn't want to waste a single day. This is his last term. He has, let's see here. And, stuff happens.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have to worry about re-election or anything. He can just go scorched earth for 4 years. Kind of what I hope he does.
Me too. So in 4 years, Trump has 1,460 days to do everything. Now, it sounds like a lot, but me and my friends are talking about how 2 years goes by so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm a part of a nonprofit that your terms last 2 years. Well, by the time you do everything, it feels like you're already halfway through your term, and then you're done and you're out. And now 4 years does last a bit longer, but Trump also doesn't know what that 4 years is going to entail. What roadblocks is the establishment going to give me? And
Yeah.
what will I have to give my full attention to? Something like the COVID incident. There's an incident in every presidential term. Sometimes they're long lasting. Sometimes they spun both terms. But Trump, I think, is honestly thinking ahead, like, I got to get to work because I don't know when I'm going to have to stop to deal with something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think it was. I think he was like, I got to get to work. I got to get to work. I got to get to work.
I mean, we also had credible threats that even
Mhm.
though we can't really, well, we can now probably, but we couldn't really trust the FBI. We couldn't really trust Secret Service on their protection because of what's happened in the last year. But, I think he was like, anything could happen at any moment,
I agree with that 100%. I think honestly he was, bit nervous. I mean, because the establishment got hit hard in 16, but they're scared now because I don't think any of the establishment knew how hard Trump was going to hit them. I think they thought he was going to be like every other Republican who gets elected office. I'll fight the establishment and don't do anything.
Yeah.
But when Trump started doing stuff, all of a sudden it's like, oh, code red. And now Trump is back. He can't win another term, so he's going to go harder. He wants to have a legacy for himself. I think the establishment is scared.
Yeah.
So I would be even scarier. I'm doing this because I believe it's right, but I mean, the establishment is the establishment for a reason. They've killed people before and they'll do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trust anybody unless I brought them in. So I do not blame Trump whatsoever for being like, let's get out of here.
Yeah. 100%. And even when they were outside, walking to wish Biden away and everything, I was like, he's outside. Get him back inside.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it just worries me.
it worries me. I mean, we've had successful president assassinations, and Trump survived 2 already. Will he survive a third? Yeah, and it's by miracles that he survived. So I honestly wouldn't be taking any risks if I was him. Considering the fact that if you can get a president early on, their influence usually wanes before the end of the term they were even elected to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would be like, get me inside, get me to the White House, let's get to work. Because I do not want to be in any place where I do not control everything.
Yeah.
And you can't really blame him for that.
No, I mean, it's like not the same circumstance, but kind of like Caesar. He didn't listen to his people. Well, Trump ain't going to listen to his people, but in the opposite way.
Yeah. Trump is listening to the people, and the other leaders are getting nervous about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't listen to the protective detail I had after, y'all are supposed to be on top of your game, and I almost got killed twice.
Mm-hmm. How does he make it onto the golf course into a pair of bushes? It just,
it's genius, isn't it? But that is all the time we have for today, folks. Again, we'll hopefully have another episode this week before politics gets too crazy. Maybe if me and Graves can try. Again, we don't know if we'll be able to film Thursday or not for our Thursday episode. But maybe if we have time, we can go to go ahead and do an episode on the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a great send-off to the Biden era.
Right?
And especially do it before there's so much Trump and Mississippi news that we're going to be covering that for the next couple months.
Yeah.
So we'll try to see if we can do a bit of research on that. If we don't, we'll just cover the news because there's going to be a lot. And then if we don't record it, well, you have this episode, and I apologize for not recording an actual Thursday episode, even though this is a Thursday show. So there's a couple things you can expect. I've made that mistake in the past. I'm no longer saying that's what we're going to do. I'm going to say that's what we're going to try to do. And if we just come on and record the news, that's it. We'll try to do a Hunter Biden laptop episode Thursday. We might end up doing the news, or we might not be able to do an episode. So stay tuned. Follow us on social media. Go to conservativecolonel.com to support us, and hopefully we'll have a bit more stuff in the store for you soon. And we'll hopefully soon start getting more active on social media again. Me and Graves are coming up with some ideas as we speak. But Graves, you got anything else to say before we sign off?
I just want to thank America.
Amen.
Thank y'all for getting out there and voting. Harrison with the podcast, Sam, who's not here with us with the media side, and got me on the ground side. Everybody else, y'all went and voted. We just told y'all stuff, and and y'all listened, and we got it done. So let's keep the fight going. Let's keep winning and make America great again. I'm wearing the hat. I'm going to keep it on for a while. I'm feeling good. And, just thank y'all to everybody again.
Thank y'all. Amen. Retweet that. Graves could put that on a shirt right now, and I'd wear it.
Well, I have 3 more words to say then, since you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Buy the merch.
if you don't know, if you go to conservativecolonel.com, there is a store side, and it will take you to the actual store because it's not connected to our website, where you can buy Conservative Colonel merch. Right now, we just have our logo on like a hoodie and a t-shirt, but we're hoping to make some more politically themed t-shirts, maybe some historically political themed t-shirts, because I'm a history nerd. Don't be shocked if I put Grover Cleveland and Donald Trump on a shirt and it says underneath, "Guess who's back? Back again."
Okay, that's actually a
good idea, ain't it?
Yeah.
Write that down. You know what? I'm going to take a picture of the time code so I remember to go back and listen to this and get that t-shirt made, because that is phenomenal.
I'll buy that for sure.
Yeah, please support the show, because we'll use all that money to promote the show and continue to try to get this show to more ears in Mississippi and nationwide. With that being said, though, God bless America and God bless Mississippi.